You're on CYInterview.
I'm Chris Yandeck. Featured columnist Jay Bilstein is with me today on CYInterview. We welcome back dancer, producer, and Las Vegas headliner Jennifer Romas of Sexy the Show at the Westgate Las Vegas Hotel, Resort, and Casino. Jennifer, thanks for joining us again on CYInterview. How are you?
Thank you so much for having me again. It's an honor and privilege, as always, to talk with you, gentlemen.
Oh, well, thank you. We really appreciate that. That means a lot coming from you because you know what, Jennifer? You are one of the big entertainment giants in Las Vegas. So I'd love to get your opinion on something, and I think that you could give a good voice. Obviously, you don't speak for the entire entertainment community in Las Vegas, but maybe you can take our listeners in the entire world through what's currently going on. A lot of the entertainment community, I believe, and you can tell me if I'm wrong in anything I say, but they want to get back to work, and they see people in the casinos, they see people at movie theaters, they see people watching sports in the casinos at the sports books, and they feel like, well, with socially distancing and correct precautions, we should be back to live performing. I think you've also started a petition for that. Tell me what the entertainment community you think in general is feeling right now, and do they want to get back to work and performing?
Wow, yeah. You know, again, I don't speak for everybody in the industry, but I think we are all on the same wavelength when we say that things need to make sense. And you either do it or you don't. There's a lot of in-between right now with everything that we are dealing with, and a lot of the laws and rules and protocols that are in place are very confusing for a lot of people. You know, my biggest thing is safety is number one. And I think that should be, you know, no matter what side of the fence you are on with anything or what you believe in, truly our health and our safety has to be number one, not only for ourselves, but for our loved ones, for our friends, for our fans, for our tourists, for people coming into Las Vegas. We have to, you know, do as much as we can for a safe environment. With that being said, things really don't make sense. You know, and this is, I'm so happy for a lot of our smaller local venues. You know, supposedly we can now have ambiance entertainment with food and food and drinks. And again, just my perspective on this, realistically, is, you know, if we can open restaurants where people can actually take off their mask to drink and to eat, how does it make any sense to not open a showroom where realistically, like a photo, like a camera? In our shows, you are not allowed to take videos or photos. If you take a video or a photo, they delete it from your phone or they will ask you to leave. Why can the same rule not be applied, like no shirt, no shoes, no mask, no service kind of a thing? If you come into the showroom, you know that you need to wear a mask. We could legitimately not serve alcohol, not serve food. Cast and crew can get tested weekly, and you can, you know, keep your mask on the entire time. And we can also, it's a controlled environment. We can sit people in groups. You can move tables and chairs around. You can sit in 1, 6, 12, 18, you know, to allow for the 6-foot distancing and things like that. How does that not make safe sense? And that's where I think a lot of the frustration is with everyone, is that the rules that are in place right now, although I know they are to protect us, and again, I 100% agree with that, but they don't make sense. And when that happens, there's frustration. You know, we've seen over the past couple of weeks, again, go Raiders, but bars were packed, sports books were packed, people were eating, people were drinking, taking their masks off, grouping together. There were hundreds of people. How is that okay? But yet we can't have a controlled environment in the showroom. So I think that's where overall we are all struggling to understand what is in place. Again, on the outside of this, it's not just a government issue. You know, it's Gaming Control Board. The casinos are involved. So I know there is a lot more involved, but we really need to find a way to make this happen. There's thousands and thousands of entertainers not only the ones that perform on stage in front of the house, but it's a trickle effect of all of those crew members, our ushers, our ticket brokers, our lights, our sound, that are struggling right now. There is no work, realistically, in our industry. And it's kind of been devastating. You know, the first couple of months that this was in place, everyone was like, okay, you know, we got to do what we got to do. But now we're not going on 3 weeks, 6 weeks. We're going on like 7 months. And with all of the, you know, horror stories we've all heard as well, with all of the unemployment and things like that for technically gig workers, it just puts our industry in a huge, devastating position.
Jay?
Well, first, great to be speaking with you again, Jennifer. I know that our...
And that was probably a lot longer explanation that you wanted, but
I actually wanted that. So, I wanted that whole thing. That was great. You really summed it up.
God, it's, you know, people, yes, have started petitions and writing letters to our government officials, and we don't want to, I don't think any entertainer, to be honest, wants to cause waves or, like I said, to do anything selflessly to open up showrooms and live entertainment. But like right now, some live entertainment is allowed, but we're like the venue is not even able to promote it. Like a rule is like you can't promote headline entertainers. Like I'm like, what? How does that make sense? You know, Las Vegas is the entertainment capital of the world, and there's no entertainment here. So it's very, very frustrating. But you know, we've been doing. We make events as another call to action group that has kind of started, that has been doing very calm, peaceful approaches on the Strip to get awareness and things like that, not only here in Nevada, but also, you know, nationally. And again, just signing petitions that are being sent in. I know people are making phone calls, people are sending letters, just to try to get someone to listen to us as a group, as a united group, because I really feel we are all united in this.
Jake?
Well, Jennifer, tell me, do you think Las Vegas performers would be willing to go into a bubble like professional athletes in order to get back to performing and have audiences, I don't know, limited to 33% capacity, 50% capacity? Would something like that work? I mean, sports are back on track. Would Las Vegas performers be willing to do something of that nature?
Absolutely. I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but I really do feel that is the consensus. We need to start somewhere. You know, we have to start taking baby steps somewhere. It just can't be a no. Like, we just can't be closed down. And again, and it's not, you know, if our city was completely closed down on lockdown, okay, well, we're completely closed on lockdown, but you can't say yes to something and no to other things, again, when it doesn't make sense. You know, all of us I know are willing to, get tested. When we did the drive-in show here in Las Vegas with my team and cast, we technically quarantined together, and we were tested. Everyone had to test negative, obviously, before they walked into their first day of rehearsal. I temperature checked every day. We were super strict with sanitary and moving people apart and things like this. And, you know, that can be done. We can get tested now. You know, again, I think we all need to put our thinking caps on and not be foolish about some decisions that we make and things like that. But, yeah, I mean, things are working in the bubble world right now for athletes and some, you know, television productions and things like that we're seeing come out and about. And again, it's a start. I hope that is not our new norm, and I really don't like that term. I think we're just going through a phase right now, and live entertainment is going to make a huge comeback when it is safe and when we can do so. But right now, there are ways and there are things we can do to continue moving forward instead of just being shut down. One other thing I do want to say about this, too, is I don't think for a lot of us, the performers, it's not necessarily always about the money, about we need to work because we need the money. Most of us, front of house and back of house, have literally spent our entire lives to make it here. And it's not something we just decided to study for 3 months, or, you know, we're going to go apply for a job here or there or whatever. This is something that has been a part of us for our entire lives. It's something that we've trained for, most of us, both physically and performance-wise and things like that. So how we facilitate, how we work out, how we train, how we eat, all of those things come into effect when you talk about an entertainer. And it's a drug to us. Performing is it's our gift. It's what we do, you know, and I think that's what is so heartbreaking right now is because, you know, yes, we could all do, most of us could all do other jobs, but I don't view entertainment, to be honest, as a job, nor do I feel like those coming to watch us see it that way. People come to watch entertainers because they get to escape everyday life. They get to feel something that maybe they don't see every single day. They get to connect with a certain song, with a certain dance, with a certain energy. Entertainment heals people. You know, we are the first ones that are called when there's a charity event. We are the first ones that are called when we need to show up and support something. And right now we need the support to be able to continue to do what we love.
Have you had discussions with any of the powers that be and shared with them specifically what you've done already with the show you just mentioned and, you know, how you quarantine together and the temperature checks and all that? Have you actually spoken to anyone who can say, okay, I'm going to speak to some other people in power and let's get this moving? Have you had that opportunity?
Well, in terms of the actual decision makers, again, that is realistically the Gaming Control Board and Governor Sisolak's team. And no, I don't believe anyone's actually gotten in direct contact with them, with anybody. I've obviously spoken to my hotel and at Westgate, and of course they are under the, you know, the rules and regulations of what is set forth by our government and what the Gaming Control Board also allows. So it's not necessarily a decision for them to make. But no, I have not spoken with anyone. I know a lot of people are trying. I know, again, these petitions we're hoping get there. Angela Stabile actually was one of the ones that started one of the petitions, the producer from Ex-Burlesque. And, you know, I've talked to Mr. Adam Steck, who is very well known here in town as well, too, and just like, you know, how are we going to do this? What are we going to do? So, and talking to some other, Ken Henderson, who has notoriety, opening this weekend with ambiance entertainment and food and drinks and things like that, just like trying to talk with other producers and heads of entertainment in town who are, you know, my peers and also people that I look up to, and, you know, our hands are tied, and that's realistically what it is. We are entertainers and creative people are adapters to anything, and give us a chance, let us adapt to the rules and regulations put in place. Don't just say no, you know. Let us help give you ideas. Let us help, you know, build whatever we need to do to create to get this taken care of. And I think that's just where the frustration lies with everybody.
Would it be profitable to perform to an audience where it's half the normal audience or 1/3 of the normal audience?
That is problem number 2. You know, realistically, and this again, I'm speaking for myself, you know, I feel a lot of the bigger production shows are going to have a much harder time just because of the amount of people that are employed, again, on stage and back of stage. Does that mean that it won't work? Of course not. But, you know, realistically, kind of like hotels, showrooms and entertainment aren't built, or restaurants aren't built to survive on 20% capacity in an audience, in booked hotel rooms, in a restaurant for months at a time. We all go through our waves of, you know, when we're sold out and we're, you know, this is a slow week and things like that, to completely for an extended amount of time of, you know, however long it takes us to get back up and running, or whatever, 3 to 6 months or whatever, can we all survive at 20, 30, 40% capacity without the conventions in town, without the big games in town, without the concerts in town? We need to be able to also draw people from somewhere. I think having entertainment open will actually draw people here. But again, we have to look at too what the hotels are at capacity-wise, and making sure we can, yes, at least come to somewhat break-even terms. Otherwise, again, it's just, bleeding money. And we've kind of all been bleeding money for the past 7 months. But again, I feel like we have to start somewhere, and we have to be willing to take that chance, take that leap of faith. And, it's just like when the hotels opened. Well, they didn't know if anyone was going to show up. They knew that they were going to be struggling for a while, but, you made adaptations and you made things work, and we just need to be given the opportunity to do that as well.
Are you in favor of a federal government bailout or some kind of economic intervention? I mean, look, if we go back to 2008, 2009, and that financial crisis, there were things that were done for the banks, things that were done for certain other companies and so forth. There were programs. Broadway in New York City is shut. Broadway, I think, has very much in common with what you good folks do in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Would you be in favor of, Save Live Entertainment Act that really looks to bolster and keep alive all these wonderful performers economically? And as you said, this isn't a job. This is who you are. Would you be in favor of that? Do you think that's fair?
I mean, honestly, absolutely. Absolutely. Again, there's just horror stories of what performers have gone through with the whole unemployment issues. My girls, to be honest, it breaks my heart, what everyone has gone through. And, with the closing of Le Rêve here in town, and the problems with Cirque du Soleil and all of those things, these are like, it's a crisis. This is not just by fault of, it's just, I don't want it to be a downward spiral effect of show after show after show when we don't even have a fighting chance. There was actually something that came out, I believe it was NBC News, and it was about a month ago, and it was one of the first things nationally on the news that actually came out about live entertainment, and the statistics of what the live events industry brings to our economy yearly is astronomically, massive. And it's like we need to get back to this. We need to not only because of the money, but because arts and culture and music and dancing, and these are parts of our makeup. These are parts of our history. These are parts of our learning going forward. These are parts of our mental health. These are parts of our world. And to not have, entertainment's been since the beginning of time, outside plays, or, all the stories of Aristotle and all these things. Like, entertainment is a part of it's just a part of our life. So to not be able to do it, live right now is just, it's devastating.
It's in your DNA, but I'll tell you what else seems to be in your DNA. You are a very, very eloquent and powerful spokesperson, Jennifer, for something that is incredibly important and an integral part of Las Vegas. And we've all got to pull together, and we here at CYInterview are certainly pulling for you. Let's just change from the serious stuff just for a moment.
I also want to say this, though, too. We always this is true as well, too. You have to find the silver lining in any disaster or any devastation. And I think through this time, as difficult as it is to move forward and things like that, I also feel like a lot of people have grown in many ways, have maybe educated themselves in other things that they didn't know that they were capable of. All of the technical side of all of this has taught us all to react differently. All of the Zooming, all of the live streaming, all of these things. So a lot of people have also found other revenue streams and things like that, and other ways of communicating and other ways of performing that maybe we didn't think about before. So again, always a silver lining in anything that happens to us, and I think it's how we all take it and turn it around and make it work for us. But again, I think especially for, and this is again, this is my perception of it too. Like a lot of musicians and singers are used to being in their studio setup, or in front of their computer doing their thing, or sitting on the sofa practicing their guitar and things like that. And although they don't want to maybe do that all of the time, but that's how they record. That's how they might practice and things like that. I feel like a lot of other artists, in terms of where we are also athletes, in terms of dancers, in terms of a lot of the cirque performers, we need space. We need our equipment. Performing every night is not the same as rehearsing every single day. There's so much more involved with our body and our minds performing all together kind of at once. And I think it's, that was, again, gyms and things like that are now, yes, open technically, but it's just keeping up our craft in terms of keeping up our physicality of a lot of things is very different now as well, too. But I believe there's always a silver lining. There's always a silver lining, and we will come out of this bigger and better and stronger and, more intelligent and of course, more adaptable to anything that's going to hit us. But it's a very hard time.
I believe that too. I think in your case, what may end up being one of the silver linings is we may see you may not think so at this point, but with your eloquence and your ability to stay on point, and you make such a compelling case, I don't know, politics. Because after all, politics in the United States, at least once upon a time, was supposed to be we the people standing up for the rest of we the people and expressing ourselves, not a permanent job, not, hey, I'm going to be in politics for 50 years. No, hey, you're a person, you've been on the Las Vegas scene, you've made your mark, and I think you have a very important point of view. You've made it very eloquently here today, and who knows in that realm what the future might hold for you. We look forward to having you back, and we certainly will support you in any way we can. And it's always a pleasure to have you on, Jennifer. Again, you're very eloquent, and you make such a powerful, powerful case. I could listen to you all day, and my head's getting a little tired of nodding yes up and down, but you've really made a wonderful case. Chris?
Thank you. I want to ask the people to just keep supporting all of live entertainment and save the arts and pray for all of us, and we're praying for all of you. And again, we just need to stick together, really stick together and rise up, and there will be light at the end of the tunnel. I have to believe that each and every single day, and that's what I think keeps us going.
Amen. Absolutely. I agree with you on that. So for dancer, producer, Las Vegas, headliner Jennifer Romas, featured columnist Jay Bilstein, and CYInterview, I'm Christian.